Hello everybody, my name is Man Muhammad, and man, say what you will about the last 3 years, but we can at least acknowledge that Cuphead fans are eating great this year. No really, who knew the stuff in their cups would taste so delicious? For those who don't know, the Cuphead Show is a TV show based off the video game Cuphead, created by Studio MDHR. This game is known for two things: really difficult levels and amazing 1930s style animation. And this animation isn't just them trying to copy the look of the show and doing a half attempt. No, the animation was all hand-drawn with only the paint being done digitally, and even then you don't even notice a difference. But I'll save all my compliments for the game when the DLC comes out. Today I wanted to talk about their TV show that I would have talked about before I got sidetracked with the game. This show was announced in 2019, the same year as the announcement of the DLC, and because it was Cuphead related, it got delayed 3 times. The show was announced to be a Netflix original, so get ready for mediocrity. All jokes aside, I really did get hyped for the show, because it's Cuphead. And then Netflix proceeded to drip feed us news and not tell us anything about the show for 3 years. We did get mini synopsis if you went to the show's incomplete Netflix page. In 2020, a bunch of unfinished clips were found on the film festival, so many clips that someone took all of them and made a full episode of it, to which Netflix took down. Whoops. In 2021, we got a trailer, and now Netflix is all in on advertising this show. And then it came out on February 18th, 2022. And what do I think of it? Why do we even need to finish that sentence? You know it's gonna be good. So the plot is relatively pretty simple. Cuphead and Mugman have misadventures in Inkwell Isle. That's really it, to be honest. The show follows very light continuity, so they can really do anything they want per episode, with everything being reset by the next due to the status quo, like any good cartoon. Like I swear, these guys die in an episode or two, but then they're fine by the next. Because the plot can be anything they want, to be honest. Give them a baby, give them a devil, give them a girl, I don't know. However, just because the continuity is thin doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. In the first episode, Cuphead loses a game of Soul Ball, where losing means losing your soul. And for the rest of the series, the devil is trying to claim his soul because Cuphead was able to escape before he got his soul disappeared. I say for the rest of the series because but to be honest, it's only really brought up in like 3 episodes, 2 of them being actual 2-parters that we have, which that episode revolves around Cuphead getting an invisible sweater that protects him from the devil stealing his soul. But due to the status quo that affects all cartoons like this, by the second episode he loses the sweater, so he is an OP for the entire series. I guess I should do this real quick for the 12th episode, so... But there is only 12 episodes right now, each of them being 11 minutes that can be binged in an hour or 2, so I don't know if this is necessary, but whatever. Basically, at the end of the 12th episode, aka the last episode as of right now, it ends on a cliffhanger with Cuphead and Mugman being arrested with a "to be continued." And to be honest, after waiting 3 years, this kind of feels like a rip. Like, it seems to me that they couldn't finish the episode, so they chopped off the final one and have to meet deadlines. This is probably a me thing though, since I generally don't like to be continues, unless it's one of those stories where everything's already solved, like the plot's already solved and everything, but then in a post-credit sequence, the hand just comes up, it's like, is it the end? The end? Question mark? But yeah, because at least with that, then, what would happen is that if they never got a sequel, then the original movie was already solved. It just has that hand making you wonder, is it the end? Is it? It's probably not. But who knows, when Season 2 comes out, or if a bunch of new episodes that we don't know added to Season 1 comes out, and that episode gets completed, who knows, I might actually like it. But yeah, that's all I really got for the plot as of right now, so let's move on to the animation. Do I even need a section for this? You already know that the animation's fantastic. It may not be traditionally hand-drawn animation, but they made it look really good for being digital. The backgrounds look like they were painted, the characters' colors on Super Bright instead more of a mellow-like color, which is what you would get if you painted them traditionally, and the characters even project a slight shadow over the background, like how cartoons made back in the 1930s would look, because basically, ink and paint-style animations used layers since it's actual paper, and because of that, the taller layers would end up projecting a shadow over the bottom layers. Even the overlay of like the little scribbles and like messed up little things you've seen in 1930s cartoons all adds up to seeing a nice return to this forgotten animation era. I also like how some scenes used handmade real-life sets, which looked gorgeous, especially in that iconic scene where the devil punishes King Dice. It all brings this really good animation to be even better. Even the slapstick is very faithful to the early cartoons, with stuff like holes getting faces when spitting something out, or how some objects will just come to life, or how literally anything can actually come to life if you think about it, like the flowers, the tombstones, the fruit, anything is fair game here. And while some choices like changing Elder Kettle's color scheme feels a bit odd, I feel like other changes like the Devil's Slate redesign looks pretty good, not gonna lie. Everything is just so full of life, I love it! I think I could go on and on and on and make an entire video dedicated to the amazing animation, but I feel like we should actually move on, or else I'm just gonna make like a million-hour video about this, and I'm going on a tangent right now, which I need to stop, because I don't want to make this video like 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna stop. I promise. While this does seem like a weird reason for me to bring up the voices out of all things, I feel like I should for two reasons. One, the show is an adaptation of a video game where they don't talk, and two, those are the voices you're going to be hearing most of the time on the show. When I first heard them in the trailer, they felt kind of weird for me, but I surely got used to them. Cuphead's New Jersey accent feels in character, but it did take a few episodes for me to get used to. Same with Mugman's voice, which fell a bit too deep for my liking, but either it grew on me or his voice actor was getting better at perfecting the voice, since it started to sound less bad over time. Elder Kettle, however, I don't know, I feel like his nasally voice doesn't suit him. Miss Chalice is a weird one, because it's obvious that they sped up her voice to make it sound more squeaky, but they didn't do that when she was singing, so it sounds good when she sings, but not good when she talks. The Devil and the King Dice's voices are great though, and then we have the voices that fit the characters, but I really wish they didn't. The carrot's voice is so annoying I hate it, but looking at his character and how he acts in game, yeah, it fits perfectly, and I still hate that. But yeah, those are really the characters' voices, that's all I really got for this part. They sound pretty good, even if it does take me some time to get used to them. Well, now time to talk about the pros. First things first, like I said before, the animation is amazing, but I already talked about that earlier, so I'm not going to repeat what I already said. I also really like the slapstick. I think it works really well here, especially for being a 1930s cartoon, in which they use slapstick all the time. Also like when the characters sing a song. Even if it didn't happen a lot, I still loved when it did happen. Besides the scene of the devil punishing King Dice, the other scene that I really loved was the scene of the devil painting the fence. It gave me major Fantasia vibes, and it was just pure eye candy to look at. I also love the personalities of the characters. None of them are portrayed to be perfect, or pure of heart, or optimistic. No, this is the 1930s, the characters can be mean at times, and I love that. Cuphead and Mugman aren't shown to do no wrong, or be pure of heart. They constantly get themselves into trouble, and I think this one scene from the show perfectly shows off their characters in my opinion.
Oh, Dad! Say, Cuphead, why are we fighting again? 'Cause we're not supposed to? Right!
They know that they might get in trouble, but they rather live on the edge and have fun, which I liked about these characters. I also like Miss Chalice's character. Up until that point, we only really saw her in trailers or in still images since the DLC hasn't come out yet. And even when we do see her in-game, it's as Legendary Chalice, and even then she doesn't do much besides say thank you and give you a power for protecting her from ghosts. Ooh. So now that the show is out and we get to see her personality, you think she'll be good and honest and so— No! Not even close to what I just said! She steals things by being charming, she swindles, she's constantly running from the cops, and figuring out how to get stuff her own way, all without being annoying or rude to our characters. It's something you don't see much anymore, or if you do, they usually join the side of good at the end. But nope, she even leaves the door to get arrested after she breaking into the cookie factory. I remember watching a clip that Netflix uploaded to the YouTube channel where we saw her sing a song in like a glasses shop, and everyone in the comments mentioned how she basically stole a pair of glasses, and I feel like this was a warning to what her character was gonna be, since we didn't know what it was at the time. Another thing I liked was the character design. The animators really did their homework on how characters are designed in the 1930s, and I feel like most of the redesigns of the characters we know were for the better and helped them be more expressive than Mr. Smiley Face over there. Keyword is most. We'll get to that later. I also like the songs. Well, yes, they did use some of the game soundtrack for stuff like when characters from that song appeared. Most of the time, the songs are original and made, and they're all a bop. I also like the title cards being based on title cards from, well, you get the idea by now, it's the 1930s. Everything is just so faithful to the art style of that era. But nothing is perfect, so I guess we have to mention the cons. And this time it's actually lower than the pros! First things first, I feel like the show works better as a weekly cable show rather than a show on streaming. I get that cable is dying out and everything, but this feels like something you're supposed to put on once a week and not something to binge watch every single episode all at once. That is a problem with most shows that aren't serialized, or shows that are meant, like every episode is taking place in a vacuum, is that if you want to watch more than one episode, it will probably get repetitive or boring after once in a while. And I think another thing that doesn't help that is the fact that the plots can be a bit boring. I mean, it works well, like some of the episodes are really good, but like some of the stories are pretty basic even for me. Now, I'm not asking for a Gravity Falls thing where every single episode is connected and how you can't miss a single one, else you completely lose out on all the important lore. No, I'm just saying to be a bit more, that the creators should be a bit more creative than having an episode where all they do is watch a baby and the baby tries to break things. I also don't really like the El Carol's new design. Like, the color scheme is fine, but I feel like the little unnecessary things like him wearing slippers do feel a bit random, especially considering the fact that the old one wasn't even in need of changing. They could have just had it brown and it would have still worked as fine. However, I will give the writers a bit slack since the story wasn't that big in the game, so I don't expect them to be making an amazing, well-written episode for Netflix out of all things. And besides, the show did get picked up for a second and third season, so let's hope that the storytelling does get better. And yeah, that's all I got. Wow, for once the cons are shorter than the pros. Overall, I think the Cuphead Show is pretty good. Besides a few random changes that seem unnecessary and a pretty bare-bones story, to be honest, I still think that it's really good. And some episodes are actually really good, and I'm saying really good a lot, I need to stop that. But yeah, I would recommend it, to be honest. It's really good, the animation's amazing, it stays really faithful to the source material, and yeah, it gives you a reason to buy Netflix. There's no other reason, I promise. There's no other reason. Pymation is right, this is really good. I don't know how he was able to predict that.